Now for the exciting part, it's about gluing. So before we get to gluing, I'm peeling this off here, but if it's already peeled, what you need to do is make sure it's nice and clean, free from dust and grease on both surfaces before we add the glue. So I clean with good old Metho for short, and I'm trying out this new adhesive. I can't remember, someone recommended it. So I toddled out to Total Tools, which is the only place that seemed to sell this crystal clear one. It sounds really good, but important to read all the data sheets with them to make sure it's suitable for your application. Okay, peeling off the side I want to stick to, and of course that's always the challenge for me. You probably don't need to watch me fumble my way through this, so I'll come back to you when I've actually got it all peeled off. Leave the bottom on until you're finished. That way limits your risk of scratching before you get it finished. All nice and clean, so all surfaces done. Normally people would put the glue on here, spread it all around, make sure all the points are done, and then glue one piece on at a time, making sure all the bubbles are removed. So this is high risk experimenting. I'm going to see how this goes. If I do the same thing as a stepping stone, where you, instead of buttering it on the back of each tile separately or individually, what about if I butter it the whole lot here and then smack that on? How bad is it going to be? Because I am experimenting, and what's the worst thing that could happen? I need more bees to cover up the boo-boos. So when buttering the backs of them one at a time, you use something like this but smaller and help you butter it, or a knife. Because I've not used this before, but what the heck, I've got this side to put it on as well. And because all these new polymers are as thick as can be, it does take a little bit of muscle power. I might need to cut that end bit a bit further. I'm using two hands now to squeeze it out. I'm not sure how thick I need to make this for the tiles or the glass to stick onto this one, but we'll find out. So what's the worst thing that could happen? We just so don't need to sweat this whole stuff. I think that's a fair bit. It's about the consistency of raw natural honey. That really thick, really thick and honey-like. And some of you might be just absolutely gritting your teeth and thinking, what on earth is she doing? I think I've got most of the air bubbles out and a good coverage. So the drawback here will be if I overuse it, it's going to squish up the grout lines, and I'll have a lot of grout lines to clean. Because we want the grout to be in there. There's nothing that draws your eye more quickly than seeing glue up the middle where the grout hasn't gone. So we'll be focusing on that. So we know that where our alignment roughly is, and we've got a rough guideline there. So I'm just going to pop it on, get it to where I need it to be, and just press and wriggle. So we'll see how bad this is. This will test out the glue. Press and wriggle, and I'll flip it up. Oh, I can't see it from the back, but I'll show you all the areas that might potentially upset you if you're working with clear glass. Wonderful tip from Sue Smith, who does all that gorgeous work on mirror. Use this safety razor blade to scrape it off here. So I can just put it there where I know I'm going to be putting the next round. There's some little bubbles in there, but I can see those here, which means there'll be lots of little bubbles there. We'll just call those bubbles of honey. Yeah, I've got that big air bubble out there. Good. Excellent. So now I can take the glue off from around the outside. So with this one, I'm just using the baby wipe to clean it off. to get rid of all of that silicone. Otherwise, it's wash your hands.